You're listening to the Trojan Hour. Yeah, the boys.
What's happening? Welcome to the millions and the millions.
We're back.
We're back on this glorious Wednesday night. Pretty fired up.
Been busy, but we're back.
Got a special guest. I call him Uncle, but his name is Neville. How are you, brother?
Good, matey. Pleasure to be here. Long time listener, first time caller.
Good to have you here.
I was pumped when you said yes, but I really just needed someone intelligent to go over that reading material.
There's a backhander over there.
Yeah.
So what's up? What are you drinking tonight, Matty boy?
Zach?
You don't even know.
A Montalcino Cab Sav.
Monachino.
Supporting local. Good to see.
Support.
What do you got there, Nev?
Definitely supporting local.
The Belveni single malt.
That's a good drop.
Can I have a look at that bottle for a second? That is an impressive bottle. I don't know anything about this kind of thing, but where are we? Check that out. That looks very fancy.
Never been a big Scotch fan. My cousin's got me onto it.
Oh, haven't you?
No.
Couple of hundos there.
That's my jam. I love me Scotch.
Yeah.
Hey, Tate.
That's a bit better.
Tatey boy.
Yeah. And for people watching tonight, I'm being a little bit lazy because for those that don't know, I know you would assume we get paid a lot of money to do this podcast, but we don't get paid anything. So in turn, I have to, look after the switching the camera angles and trying to hold a, intelligible conversation. And at times I've started watching back our podcast and I'll go, why didn't I jump in there? Or why didn't I say this? Or why didn't I say that? Or I'm just staring like a moron because I'm trying to change the camera angle. So I'm being lazy tonight. I've just got us on the old dashboard for like old time's sake because we are kind of taking it back old school a little bit. Taking it back. So I can just focus on the conversation. We can talk some shit. You can still see us. And I'm going to bring in everything we're talking about tonight because we actually have a little bit of journalistic integrity. We are going to be showing our sources and showing you what we're looking at and talking about. Yeah. So I'm going to bring in my computer screen and show you guys what we're talking about there as well. So first thing I reckon.
Oh, but because we make so much money though, if anyone out there that wants to be our camera /
just spat at me.
Joe Rogan, Jamie.
Yep. Intern role.
We do need someone.
We kind of need someone on the side there to.
Because there's a seat right here.
Extra seat
next to me.
I'll keep it warm.
And there's they can have the iPad and they can control everything. It's very easy.
Perks. You get an iPad.
You get to control the iPad and you get to be with the boys.
Yeah, drinks and iPad.
And the women. We're trying to get some women on the show as well. Bit of gender
equality.
Yeah, bit of diversity, bit of gender neutrality.
Well, it'll free you up to do the computer side of things.
Yeah, that's right.
Just let them go.
Exactly. So for those that have been following, the local election results are back, and they're not as we would have thought because, for those that don't know, we actually have a system in place that is a preferential system. So just because Neville gets 3,000 votes
doesn't mean Neville's first.
And I get 2,000 votes, doesn't mean Neville's going to beat me to the punch because all the second preferences and all those kind of things come in. So people kind of can't really understand how that can work.
I was about to say, maybe you sort of explain that a bit as in like preference, how that goes. Because most people think that you get the most votes by the public.
Well, it should be.
You'll get an election.
I think so.
Absolutely should be.
I think so.
Yep. It's like the public has spoken and you got the most votes, you should be in.
Because let's have a look here.
And I think, honestly, personally, whoever gets the most votes should be offered mayor.
Yeah, we spoke about that.
And then vice versa. Like if they decline, the next person gets offered.
Yep, I think so.
Because we're the ones voting them. There shouldn't be this preferential thing that it seems to have a lot of weight too. You know what I mean? It's not.
Definitely.
It's not a small thing. It has a lot of weight.
Do you look at preferences when you vote? Does that have any influence at all on your vote?
Only, no, not really. No, you vote, you put your one for who you want to win, and that's the most important thing, isn't it?
And you think you're doing the right. You think,
Yeah.
oh, okay, if I vote for number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, that's what it's going to be like. But
And you notice this year that only one candidate or incumbent, Fern Summer, was the only one that had a preference list. Did you notice that? Nobody else had any
I
preferences.
didn't see that. But I remember Fern putting hers out, but I didn't know she was the only one that
did it.
preference out.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And I don't know why people went away from that, but I think if you're going to have a preferential system, at least it's because everyone wants to play the field and you know, piss in everybody's pocket and not act like, you know, they don't want to upset anybody, I think.
Yeah.
But I think it's a little bit silly, and I'll show you guys what we're talking about here. So we've got the Greater Shepparton City Council election results for 2020, all right? So elected candidates, you've got Kim O'Keefe, Robert Priestley, Shane Sarley, this is in order too, Greg James, Seema Abdullah, Fern Summer, Jeffrey Dobson, John Brophy, and Sam Spinks, right? Just scraping in there. So voter turnout was 83.65% of the total enrolment, right? Probably not too bad for Shepparton,
Not
really.
bad.
And then
Probably not bad for
I mean,
anywhere, really.
It's compulsory.
now this is where it gets, it is. This is where it gets nuts. Check out this. Preference votes percentage. Kim O'Keefe got 18.8%. She absolutely shellacked.
Killed it.
Killed it, man.
Sujooked.
And you've got Sutton got 1.88%, whatever, right? But you go down, Sarley got quite a lot too, 14.99. That's a big number too, isn't it?
Out of how many? 5, 3.
5387 he got. But
So it's about $300 a vote for Shane. Money well spent.
I love you,
He could
Shane.
have given me 300. I'd have in a heartbeat.
I would have voted if Shane had to come up to me and said, "Hey man, $300."
There's 300.
I would have voted for Shane. $300
$300. Yeah, wouldn't have
You know
even
what I
asked about his preferences.
Nah,
No.
who cares? But here's the thing that people, you know, were a bit confused about is you've got someone like, let's zoom out of there. Oh my God, I'm going nuts here. This was going way better in my head than it is now. So you got someone like good old Benny Ladson, got 3.03% of the vote, right? First preference vote. But he was beaten out by Jeffrey Dobson at 2.84%. Are they using Dominion? Or
So how many got less than Benny for the primary, for the main vote?
I believe Dinny missed out as well. Dinny would have been in front of Ben as well. But
Yeah,
as
okay.
for second preference votes, he missed out. And then that begins, you know, people start talking about, I'm just going to switch us back to the camera there. People start talking about, you know, how does this happen? And then all sorts of allegations get thrown around, you know, like vote mules and all that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I couldn't really get my head around how that might happen because, you know, no one had preferences this time. So I'm like, how do they know? Like, how would you know, Neville's votes help me? So basically how I got my head around it a little bit was, so it's not illegal, by the way,
No.
to be
It's the way the system's
it's
set up.
they're manipulating the system,
yeah.
right? So I'm kind of banking on you. So I strike up a bit of an alliance with Neville, right? We're both running. I take a heap of photos with Neville at the lake, and you know, me and Neville, you know,
Yeah, we've got policies that
we're the
align
boys, you
and-
know, like me and Nev, we're going to go a long way. And through networking and whatever, his voters know that Neville wants me preferenced high. Neville wants me at the second, and my voters, you know, whatever. So I'm banking on Neville not making it, and then all his preferences come to me. But as far as I'm aware, and I could be wrong, so for example, we'll use Fern Summer as the example here. So Benny Ladson was Fern Summer's number 2. So Fern, I'm guessing, would have got a lot of votes, right? So a lot of people would have been following her ballot and said, okay, she wants Ben number 2, so bang, there you go, Benny.
Yep.
But because she was elected, he doesn't get her preferences.
Right.
So is that the way the preference?
I think that's how it works, yes. So if if I get the preferences are only split if you don't make it in. Does that make sense?
Okay, so if somebody goes out of their way to befriend
So that's why you
lower
go
ranked,
lower fruit.
lower ranked,
Yeah.
lower fruit here,
And you've got potential.
then they've got
Yes, you've got not to be a counsellor.
Not yet, but work with me.
they've got their preference then.
Yeah. So that's how old. Well, it's all alleged. The word allegedly is going to get thrown around a lot tonight. But
And by all means,
if we're wrong,
if you know
let
any
us
better or how it works, we're just trying to dissect how this works.
But how it kind of works in that regard is, let's just say, for argument's sake, Jeffrey Dobson, right? We know he got in on preferences because he didn't get more votes than Ben Ladson.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think also he got less of the vote. He got less of the vote than Dinny as well. So preferences carried in a big way Jeff over the line into that top 9.
Was he riding?
Apparently, allegedly, Zara was
So he pretty much rode the low fruit.
whether she knew it or not. Now she may not
She
have
must
known.
like, if their answers in that, was it the Shep News?
The Shep
The
News
Shep
were
News
identical.
were identical. She knew.
Yes,
Like there was some
I
kind
believe
of,
so.
There's some kind of agreement. Look,
And it's that thing too of like first time counsellors, newbies.
Someone like
You
him
get someone
approaches
like
you.
someone that's been in there a long time. Is like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
come under my wing.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know
Are
the
you
thing.
gonna? Do you know what I mean?
100%.
100% people are going to go, okay, like, you know what you're doing. I'll come.
Yeah.
I will side with you because I got a better chance because you're known.
Yeah.
But
And how did
is
she
he just riding you for that preference?
How did she do in the votes?
Well, let's
Is there
check
enough there
this
for
out.
her to run again next time around?
She didn't do too bad.
Also,
she got 2.
Like I said,
two-
if you know how this works any different than what we are perceiving it, 100% let us know. We're just
Zara got
dissecting this.
821 first preference votes,
Mhm.
2.28% of the total votes. So she didn't do too badly. She did
Yeah.
pretty well. So that
So-
really would have bolstered him
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
she ranked pretty highly.
yeah.
Look
So-
at next election.
Yeah.
I think the old, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Next election, same thing.
That's right. But I think that surely, and if you guys tell us what you think, but I think the preferential system needs to be. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I think I'm okay with it. There just needs to be transparency. If only one candidate made their preferences public, there's something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know.
That's the thing, though. They're
But
not
why?
gonna.
Yeah, why is
They're
that?
not going to. They're not going to make it transparent. The thing is, if you're not going to make it transparent, let's just go back to raw. Let's raw dog it, and just say whoever's voted in by the public is voted in.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's easy. It's democracy. We want you to lead us. You lead us.
Because it makes it hard to drain the proverbial swamp if they have these heavy networks.
The flip side of that is
Speaking to the mic there,
the
Uncle.
federal election, God, must have been earlier than 2016. Like, I don't know what years we had our election. Lad from Tassie, Shooters Party or some really esoteric. There's like 3 members in the party. He got 0.08% of the vote and got in on preferences.
Yeah.
And this bloke's, he's a farmer. He's doing his first press conference in a suit that's 3 sizes too big. What the fuck has just happened? And that's
Fucking hair all over the place.
that's the flip side. Is it gets representation that you wouldn't normally get purely on those preferences. Because the bulk of the public isn't going to vote for this, for Joe down the road.
Yeah. I feel, I can see what you're saying there. I just think that maybe it comes down more to people being educated on it and knowing how this thing works because
But who wants to get educated on politics, really? I mean,
I know, I agree. It's especially local politics.
local
It's boring
politics.
It's
Yeah.
boring.
It's
Unless you've got a
boring, but
Melvin Muto that's just going to drag everyone out because
Yeah.
he's a polarizing figure. It is boring. And no one really... I'm not saying no one
That's
cares,
the problem, though. Like, you've got to be out there. You've got to entice people in to take any interest in it.
Yeah.
It's I know, lack of better words. Nobody gives a fuck.
no, they don't. I mean,
That's right, yeah. And
It's sad. Like it's our town.
And how do you engage, an 18, 19, 20-year-old?
Yeah,
yeah.
You're just not going to do it.
that's right.
Yeah, but I think that, look, I know you're never going to get the preferential system scrapped. It's never going to happen. But I do think, it comes down to education and that old, people need to understand how these preferences work and how it can be manipulated.
But again,
more,
it comes
more
back to transparency. You're seeing the same thing in the US. There's no transparency. No one knows what the fuck's going on.
That's right.
So if you're going to have preferences, tell everyone who your preferences are, why they're your preferences.
Yeah.
And then explain what that means.
Yeah. I think so. But because a lot of people...
Because like you said, the average person just rocking in there, casting their vote.
Yeah.
It's...
Yeah.
Because they don't understand how it all works.
We had Benny on the
And
night...
do you expect them to? Like, they're look, let's be honest, like everyone's... Majority of people busy with family, work, just everyday problems, paying their bills, all that sort of stuff. The last thing on their mind is like, I'm going to pick apart the election system of our local council.
And it's a downfall of a compulsory system where it's a chore to the bulk of the
That's
people
right.
who are going out and doing it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, and that's another thing we touched on. It shouldn't be compulsory.
No. If you want to have a say, have a say.
That's right.
Yeah.
Why are we forcing people to vote?
Because that's when the dog shit happens.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's
you
when
get
that's
people
when the
coming in
donkey
there
votes, all the bullshit happens.
Yeah.
Is people that just don't care. They don't understand. They don't care. They got enough problems in their life to worry about that bullshit.
Yeah, and it's a contradiction. Yeah, we're a democracy, but
we're not.
fucking going to do this.
Yeah,
you've been
we're a
told to,
democracy, but you have to fucking vote or we'll send you a fine.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's
Come on.
stupidity.
Yeah.
And it's like we were talking. I do think it should be. So now they're all putting their hands up for mayor. We could, and look, I don't want to pick on her too much, and people are going to say, "Oh, you're picking on her because she's a greenie and she's, probably a feminist and whatever." That's fine. But Sam Spinks, elected last, could potentially be the mayor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we should be voting on the mayor.
Yeah, 100%.
So by our logic, Kim O'Keefe should be mayor by a mile.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But they sit there then and will vote. So if you get this little core in there, right?
Oh, you can manipulate the shit out of it.
They can put up who
absolutely.
they put their own mayor in there.
If you get the majority in there of like all your little buddies and
Yeah.
I've sucked up to you and I've told you I'm going to do this during the elections and stuff like that. Absolutely, you can
Backdoor
sway it.
deals.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
you can sway it.
I think that
It should absolutely be gone. The community says you're number one.
Yep.
It should be offered.
Just a
Do you want to be?
a separate column for mayor, 1, 2, 3.
We want you to be mayor.
Yeah,
If you
100%.
refuse to do it, I don't think I'm capable of doing it because of family, work, commitments, or whatever. That's great. You've been honest because you don't want someone to do it half-assed.
Oh, hell no.
But
No,
then offer it to the second
Look at
person.
Trump when he was elected. He was horrified.
Yeah.
When he was first elected, he was fucking, what the this was a joke. It was a raw, and I've won.
believe it. I couldn't believe they'd do it. I can't believe they fell for it. Can you believe that?
I mean, he ran with it. Give him credit.
Well, like you said,
Ran
though,
with
it's
it,
that
alright.
thing of like democracy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You vote for the number one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it should be pretty straightforward.
it doesn't matter how many thousands of people go for that number one. This is it's very easily overridden by like the club.
Yeah.
The club.
The
If you can get a
club.
little club going down there,
Yeah.
So let's while we're on the council, let's touch on. So we've got a lot to get to tonight. We're going to be talking about. So we're going to talk about SAM funding, right? Neville is like our in podcast house
Jamie.
accountant. He's our in podcast lawyer. He's everything, right? So that's why I got him on. So we're going to talk about the SAM budget and how the council are kind of
The cube.
blowing a lot of the money and mismanaging a lot of things, and how this thing looks like it's going to be hemorrhaging money for quite a
For
while.
a long time.
A long time.
It's designed to, by the looks of things.
Yeah.
Or
So we're
without
going to
mind.
talk about that. We're going to talk about poor old Pistol Pete Evans.
Pandemic Pete.
The outrage
Elio
mob
Pete.
have finally gotten rid of Pete. They've
I'm
been
going to
wanting
make
to do
a
it for a
noise
while.
and open this.
We're going to talk. No, open it. We're going to talk about, it's the allegations of him being a Nazi and all that kind of thing by the media. That is super loud. And we're going to talk about
That's me.
some guys that decided
How
to
does that look?
pull a fake
What is it?
hate crime.
Honeycomb chocolate. How does it look?
Deconstructed honeycomb chocolate. They've just put the honeycomb
It
outside the
definitely
chocolate.
looks
Just whacked it on top.
Yeah, you could put that in front of the camera. It definitely looks deconstructed.
All right.
Some soy boy in
Package it in Byron Bay or something.
Yeah, definitely Byron. Definitely Byron. It'll have hemp pants.
Yeah.
a rainbow flag T-shirt. All right, so let's talk
How
about.
dare you?
So, I had a bit of inside information, like I'm a fucking journalist. Probably more of a journalist than the Shep News, by the way. But I had some people reach
It's not
out.
an unrealistic call.
It's not unrealistic, but I had some people reach out and say, "Hey, we've been digging into this thing for quite a while. Let's, do you want to hear what I've got to say?" So I've been listening to these people. I've verified that with their own documents. Those documents I sent you today, which are on the council's website, I believe.
Yeah, you just sent me screenshots basically, so couldn't tell you.
But you can get to those via the website.
Yep.
I can post them up anyway. The documents that I have, but basically, so if people are wondering how the Shep News, Freudian slip. There you go. People are wondering. So I was going to say how the art museum was jammed down people's throats, but I said Shep News. So the art museum was kind of just rammed through, right? Rammed through when everybody I speak to, I don't think anybody wants it.
No.
It's ridiculous.
I haven't honestly, I haven't talked to anyone that has said 100%, as in like, fuck yes.
New museum.
Not close.
Fuck yeah.
As
Not
in like,
close.
yes,
Yeah.
financially, tourism, everything. Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah, I can't remember. This is like these things you sent me back in 2015.
2015. That they were the plan. They were the business cases.
Yeah.
Making the case for it.
Yeah,
right?
125 grand of our money for a 9-page report. Was it put to the public? What feedback did the public get? Because I don't remember. They're just talking about a new museum, and all of a sudden, it's underway.
I remember that when it was announced or proposed to the public.
Yeah.
The feedback was terrible. So much so they had to create their own frequently asked questions to try and combat all the negative press they were getting.
FAQs.
So this is apparently like I said, I've fact checked a little bit of it, but fuck me, I got a full-time job, and it's someone else's job to fact check this shit. Part-time. So a guy named
Together we.
Now I'm gonna butcher this name, but Carrillo Gantner has a chat to some Shep elite, right?
Is an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shep
elite.
Yeah. I didn't have my teeth replaced till I was 53.
Says he'll donate $2 million of Aboriginal art to Shepparton, but he wants it in a new building that's situated by the lake. Shep elite take it upon themselves to secure a state government grant themselves, go to council and say, you'll build this and this is where it'll be built, right? So now this is the funding plans I sent you.
Yep.
So the original plan was for $10 million federal, $10 million state, $10 million council, with $7.5 million being raised by the SAM Foundation. The building was to start after the SAM Foundation raised the cash.
Yeah. So it's pretty much like, if you can come to the party, then we'll chip in.
Now they had to raise 12. 4.5 of that was for building, and 8 was for basically a slush fund, an investment portfolio that would pay the losses. The returns on the investment portfolio would pay for the losses over X amount of years.
Yep.
Now, I remember they started building before the foundation had raised anywhere
I think
near
it was
that much.
only $2 million.
So it wasn't kind of like, okay,
No.
we've got this
Not even
coin,
that.
we've got
No.
this slush fund.
No, you've got to raise that. You've got to
It was
get.
kind of like, let's just start early.
Yeah.
It was hopes and dreams.
Yeah. And on that costing too, local council $10 million. They were borrowing that $10 million at 5.4%. Now, 15, that's 5 years ago. Interest rates had dropped a little bit. Coronavirus is going to make it bloody hard to earn on an investment.
Yes.
But that $10 million is actually closer to 15 by the time it's paid back over 15 years.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so your cost now is from, 45 to 50 straight away. That's 5 years ago. Now, things blow out. So the $60 million that people have been saying, not a big leap.
Maybe more
Not a big
than
leap
that.
at all.
So I think at the last count, the SAM Foundation has only reached $2 million, right?
Yeah.
And that's after the big guns like Coppolis have already been pulled into this, right? And his contribution, Coppolis's contribution, is over 10 years, which completely shits all over that. They were meant to support the capital expenditure of the building as well as running costs over 8 years.
Yeah.
So it's already that already, like, that alone on its face is already digging a
Yeah.
fucking ditch.
Yeah.
Blown out.
Or the most recent thing I could find was just a tick over $6 million raised. 4.7 of that went to the building, so they could get the building done. Happy days. So they got 1.3 million in their slush fund. Now I didn't know that was probably all Coppolis' money. That's over 10
Yeah.
because the 4.7's got to be funded. They've got to pay for the building, so that's got to be up front.
Yeah.
So they've got to find another 6.5 plus
Yeah.
before it opens to start paying down for this investment to start generating cash.
For this investment, start losing money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, their figures.
But what were you saying as well? That part of that screenshot I sent you, I was having a laugh at it when I was driving home. I was texting you, and it was based on
The visitor numbers.
The visitor numbers.
Yeah,
Talk about that.
Was that 100K? They're budgeting for 100,000 visitors a year. Now, the bulk of those will be local visitors. That's fair enough. They'll have their exhibitions 2 or 3 times a year that'll draw in external visitors from outside the region. 100,000 visitors, most local. So Shep's population's what, 60,000?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So
A little bit
50-50
more,
split.
little bit on it
All
more
right.
now, but
Well,
I think 60,000 is pretty.
for them to say most,
Pretty
you'd
accurate,
expect
yeah.
probably
Yeah.
60,000 local
Yeah.
visitors.
Yeah.
That's the entire population of Shep.
Yeah, that's
Like,
right.
Mum, dad, kids, everyone. At least
Everybody
once
in
a year.
Shepparton
Everybody.
Once a year.
Yeah.
And for the first-
Everybody going once a year.
Yeah, and for
Not
the
gonna happen.
first year, apparently all they're going to have is bloody high school art anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, they've got nothing booked.
they've
for-
got bugger
no,
all.
yeah, right.
Apart from what's already
no Egyptian.
yeah, no,
yeah.
no.
It'll be the
Egyptian.
St. Mel's school sending in their finger paintings
Yeah.
and
Apart from what's already in Sam, that
yeah.
you and I have already seen because we go to Sam every year.
Yeah, every year. I've got it
Every
marked. I've got it marked in my calendar every year. But yeah, so it's gonna hemorrhage money like
Well,
heavily.
if you look at those figures you sent, they've broken it down for the first 5 years. Money in, money out. Now, for the first, I think the first year they were projecting a $1.3 million loss. That's, you kind of, any business you open, you budget a loss for the first little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
But that loss grows over the next 5 years. It doesn't go down once.
That's
over the next
right.
5 years.
You're prepared for the loss,
Mhm.
but it should be minimising.
Yeah. So
But-
after
Going
5
up, right.
years, your losses, they're projected at 1.5.
Yep.
Right, and that's where they cut the graphic off. All right, so I'm happy to be proven wrong because I'm only going off what was in this spreadsheet. But you look at the numbers, they've got an $8 million slush fund to pay for this, to earn money to pay for this $1.3 million a year loss. $1.3 million, it's like 16%. Find me any investment investment portfolio
Yeah.
that can return you 16% per annum.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. All right, so say 10%, being generous. They find someone that can make them 10% a year on 8 million. They're going to make 800 grand. There's a $500,000 shortfall straight away.
Yeah.
So there's a $500,000 that comes out of the capital.
On the flip.
and is that
Like, if
is
you're
that
if you're
including
investing in like really good real estate return, you're not making 10% return.
Fuck no.
You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
but are
come
those
on.
numbers including the loss that they're going to have? Like I think 180,000 a year from the Shell servo and the Lakeside Cafe that have been closed down.
That doesn't. I don't think it says anything about that. But the other thing, like they sprout
As
this
in
big,
like the rent and like lease.
No, like
money.
the servo and that's gone now.
Yeah, but I'm saying like they used to like lease it off them as in for X amount per year.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
that what you're saying?
Yeah, it was an income.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, they don't mention anything like that.
No.
But what they do mention is after 10 years, if the council puts in their $10 million as their third of the funding, after 10 years, they get the building. All right, so they've got a $34 million building. That's probably not worth 34 million depreciation after 10 years. It's probably not worth 34 million. Say it is 34 million. They say that by that time, the net result will be a $9.5 million profit over those 10 years. But that includes the way I read it, that includes the $35 million building.
Yeah.
So that $35 million has probably has taken them into positive territory. So there's a $25 million loss over 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The building gets them in profit, fantastic.
yeah.
But they're not going to sell the fucking building, are they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So you run
You're
those.
you're not buying the building as a lease profit.
No.
As an investment portfolio.
No.
I'll build the building, I'll make some profit, and then I'll sell it on
Sell
for
the
profit.
No, that's
That's
right.
right, yeah.
Fucking AFL, Vic government sold Metricon to the AFL for $1 after 25 years. What's a building fucking worth?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But like if you run those $25 million loss over 10 years, those first 5 years that they laid out, they're down 7 million. Okay, so you take that out to 10 years, is where they're saying they're going to be up 9. 7 million for the first 5. You'd say maybe because it increases, their losses increase. You say maybe 8, 9. So after 10 years, they've lost 16 million. Not
Wow.
the 25. Not the 25 that the difference between the 9 and the 34.
Yeah.
But that difference is the $8 million slush fund. So after 10 years, they've burnt through that slush fund. They've got no investment portfolio to pay for any losses after those 10 years.
Right.
Where's the government fine
Yeah.
year 11's loss of 2.1 million?
Yeah.
Uh,
It's insane.
And mind you, if anyone knows any different,
yeah, 100%.
by
If
all
I'm wrong,
means,
I'm only
hit us
going
up.
off.
We're just
Yeah, if we're
interpreting
wrong,
this
this
as
is
what
we're in
what we've
opinion.
been given.
Well, what they've put down is very, very basic. It's bar graphs and you know, 2 columns out
Yeah,
of.
we'll give you a pie graph.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like I said, I'm not an accountant. They've got accountants that do this, but that's what they've made public.
Good at their job, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
And also another thing that's quite hilarious as well is who approved the barbecue area that was at the lake between the Rotary, the old one and the Shell Servo, right? So it cost a few $100,000. It was there for a couple of years, and then they removed it to make way for Sam. But they already knew that Sam was coming,
Yeah.
so they've just blown this money on this little barbecue area. Like, mate, I could build a barbecue area for. If you give me a couple of $100,000, I could build a fucking barbecue area.
Got a crack it, put a pool in.
Right? And then they just bulldoze it.
Yeah.
And because they knew this the whole time that Sam had already been proposed. So
How
there's
convenient,
another
the tourism
you
hub.
know what I mean?
down.
Like the money. Yeah, the tourism hub. Yeah.
It burnt down. But when it burnt down, it was like, let's not rebuild it. Let's just move it down the other end of town.
Mate,
Yeah.
I'm calling fire
Come
in
on.
Sam,
Yeah.
year 11.
Yes.
They're going to have to pay for it somehow. I'm
Yeah.
calling fire.
It's going to mysteriously go up in
Yeah.
flames. I reckon.
Mysterious girl.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Going to learn from Melbourne and then actually have it fucking
Yeah.
insured.
Yeah.
Down the other end of town. Come on.
Oh, mate. It's
Someone just heading down there with batches in a fucking...
it's an
Petrol
absolute
can.
it's
Come
an
on.
absolute farce.
Come on.
$2 million worth of Aboriginal art, like painted didgeridoos, they're going to go up like that.
Whoever
Yeah,
burnt
yeah.
that stuff down, just hit us up, get you on the show.
But seriously though, it's pretty egregious.
Yeah, it's not the best.
No.
The breakdown of why they did. I think there was another side there that said Shepparton has. We don't have the facilities or the reputation of other towns. That's 30% of the reason to build Sam.
Yeah, I saw that broken
Like
down.
30% this, 30%, 10% cultural.
Yeah, and I'll post I'll post those documents so
Yeah,
people
yeah,
because they're
yeah.
public. Anyone can get them anyway. But I'll post what we're talking about. So if you want to, go over them yourself, and it's all there. It's a bit of a read.
Yeah.
But-
Have a read, hit us back, tell us what you think of it.
Yeah,
Because this thing, we're just interpreting things as we see it.
There are so many
By
other
all
issues with
means.
Shep. Other than those three or four things that they mentioned, they attribute 30% of Shep's problems to.
Yeah.
yes,
It's crazy. Yeah, and they budget something like $3 million after 10 years. $3 million that they think they'll bring in an extra tourism money, 20,000 visitor nights per year. Where the fuck are these people going to spend that money?
Yeah.
I know.
Hotels will get it. Macca's on the way out of town will get it because it's they'll be out of here by 10 to get breakfast.
Yeah,
'Cause there's nothing else fucking here.
no, exactly right. I can't see in any world where this does well.
No.
Okay, and we're going to be paying for it for a fucking long time.
Unless they want to get the house polished.
Well, yeah, but even the even the concrete,
www.trojanflooring.com.
even the
Hit us
polishing
up.
in the joint was a headache.
Badgery.
The whole thing was a headache. They put the frames in and then wanted the concrete. Oh my, anyway.
Yeah.
But so we're going to talk.
That comes back to a whole thing of too, like, you get a lot
I'm going to
of
grab a
local
drink. I'll be back.
Look,
Do you need some more ice?
I used it all. I
just
refilled.
real quick,
Oh, you did.
Nah, all good.
like local councillors
Drink it
saying,
raw.
"Oh, right, we've got these big commercial builds happening. We're going to use as many people locally as we can." No,
It's all Melbourne.
they don't. They
lot
don't
of
even understand the whole tendering process,
No, they
the,
don't.
the work process, or anything
They
like
don't.
that. Like,
There's not many local businesses that could handle that workload.
well, just for my business,
Like we couldn't
Well,
handle
your
that.
business,
We're a
me and James
three-man
in business
show.
together. Just for our business together, we could do some pretty big stuff.
We have, yeah.
But the opportunity wise, you're pretty much shut out.
Yeah, for those big jobs you are. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Can
it's,
do it,
it's,
but can you compete?
No,
That's half the
definitely
problem. It's like, would you go in there to something that size or the size of some of these jobs?
Yeah.
Would you go in there to make a heap of money and obviously you would spend that back in your community, or would you go in there for fucking peanuts?
Yeah, that's right.
A lot of the time you like, whatever. But you get a lot of these councillors that say, we're going to bring, we want local businesses included.
Make Shepparton great again.
Yeah. We're going to bring them into local,
He's gonna grab
all
a
these
drink.
local builds and stuff. It doesn't happen.
No, and I mean, on the surface, you look around and there's some, and starting with the courthouse a few years ago, some great projects happening. But then you look a little bit deeper, and how many shops are still empty in the middle of town? Like, where's that money going?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, like things like these bigger jobs, there has been some great local businesses that have been involved in them.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of like, you know what? If you're going to build this thing worth X amount, you've got the upper hand of saying this building is worth X amount. We want local builders, associates, input worth X amount percentage. It doesn't happen.
No. I mean, from what I
I've
can
seen
see,
heaps of times saying, "Oh, we're going to make sure there's local builders and stuff like that." I know myself. We've quoted a lot of stuff, and there's just people coming from Melbourne, coming from all around the place.
Yeah.
If you want to keep the money here, keep it here.
Yeah. I mean, from what I can see, the money's just getting siphoned back into running for local council anyway.
Yeah.
Can I fund my run for council and try and get elected so I can?
100%.
The old swamp fund.
So, all right, if by all means, everybody, check out those documents when we post them up. Do your own research, come to your own conclusions,
And hit us up.
We're just trying to raise a little bit of awareness to what's going on.
People hit us up with
We've
their own
only
ideas.
just scratched the surface
Yeah.
too, really.
Hit us
Probably
up with your own
totally wrong.
ideas. You might look at it different.
Yeah.
Hit us up with that.
So our next, the next topic on the agenda, it's been a whirlwind for old Pete Evans.
Paleo Pete.
Paleo Pete, Pandemic Pete.
Pandemic Pete, whatever you want to
He's
call
got
him.
a few names. Nazi Pete now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's old
Over a Führer's
Heinrich
group and-
Pete. Mein Führer Peter. So the woke mob have finally put the last nail in the coffin for old Pete, it seems.
Yeah, I like the way, finally.
They've been at him for a while.
They've been hammering him.
Hammering him. So, look, he's a different bloke. I remember watching, when I grew up watching MKR. I used to watch it, right? And it just got really shit towards the end. But I remember watching it, and he looked like a pretty straight dude that, didn't look anything out of the ordinary, but he's gone pretty alternative these days.
Oh, compared to what he was, exactly like you said, he was a very straight, normal. It was that typical one on TV.
Yeah, normal celebrity chef. Good business.
That's
Yeah.
right. He was
affable.
He was running businesses. He was making money. He was doing his thing, keeping his nose clean.
But he's said some
Next
things.
minute, backflipped.
I'm going to read just a couple. And look, they're from these articles that are probably very biased against him as well. But they may be taken out of context. So do your own research on whether or not. Nah, I'm right, bro.
You got to try some.
I'll try after.
It'll take my scotch.
It'll screw me.
Oh, yeah, grab that honeycomb shot. Oof.
So he said a few things that have got him in some hot water. Now, a couple here. So he said that dairy removes calcium from your bones, right? He said that. He thinks dairy removes calcium from the bones. This was on a Q&A session on
And the
Facebook.
doctors haven't done the research on this.
Yes, all right. Sunscreen is toxic. Right, whatever, okay.
Should stare into the sun for at least a few seconds a day. Same rant. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, this is the one that kind of, all that stuff, all right, it's kind of harmless, the other stuff he was saying, kind of. This one here was the one that got him in a bit of trouble, the bone broth thing. Remember when he said it was an alternative to breast milk?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he said he co-authored this, an e-cookbook called Bubba Yum Yum, right?
Bubba Yum Yum.
Bubba
Is that what it's
Yum
called?
Yum. Yeah, it sounds like something Jimmy Savile has had a hand in. But the paleo way for new mums, so babies and toddlers, which included a recommendation to feed infants bone broth as a baby formula. The recipe, titled Baby Building Broth, uses chicken bones, liver, and apple cider vinegar, among other things, to create a homemade formula, which he claimed could be given for babies up to 6 months of age who couldn't take human milk. So all these professors come out and slammed him about it, said it could be dangerous and all this kind of thing, but he kind of stuck fat with it.
Mhm.
And he had a lot of people supporting him that stuck with it as well, that supported his right to say it. And
Support the right to say it,
Exactly.
not
Not
necessarily
saying-
supporting the
Yeah.
science, of which there was none.
So he's said some things like, also, he said that drinking water with fluoride during pregnancy can lower the baby's IQ. There's been a lot of things that he's said, but
A lot.
a lot of things that he said. Like he's a weird dude, right? But what really got him finally, woked off the internet.
It was always sort of teetering, right?
Well, I think there was the
Yeah.
the COVID thing as well, just recently.
Yeah.
Which I think, without that, this may not have blown up quite so bad. But like you said, they're out to get him.
They've
Couldn't
been
get him
waiting.
on-
Absolutely.
They couldn't get
That,
him.
that got him on the edge. The
Yeah.
COVID thing
Yeah.
got him on the
It was
edge.
They got him on
COVID
enough's
slash
enough, we're fucking with
vaccine.
people.
He was on a watch
Yeah.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
COVID
100%.
vaccine thing got him on the edge. This just tipped him.
But actually, can I add another element into there
Absolutely
of why
can,
people
James.
people
Go ahead, James.
really turned on him? And this is the sad, unfortunate part of it. When he come out pro-Trump, that also got the
Yes.
mob all riled up, because if you wear a MAGA
They
hat,
Yeah.
you're a Nazi, you're a white supremacist, as we know, right? So that also got people really
did.
fucking wound up.
I want to make it clear too. We ain't absolutely pro-Trump.
I fucking am.
I'm
Speak for yourself.
no, look, I'm pro-Trump, but but as in
I
the
like the
sense of
theatre.
I'm willing to hear anyone else's point of view.
Oh, 100. But
Yeah,
we all
But
are.
but the thing is, I'm not going to say I'm pro-Trump. I'm not willing to hear any of his shit. I'm saying I'm pro-Trump. Give me some fucking evidence.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But exactly like you said, as soon as that cap
Oh,
went on him. Oh, Pete put that cap on.
That cap is a target. It's
Ooh.
a target on your head.
He copped it.
But this, and now I want to get into this.
No
cartoon.
one wants to see anything.
I want to
mate.
get into this cartoon, so I'm gonna bring it up for people that haven't seen the cartoon. This
Yeah,
is
bring it
what
up.
got him, mate. He's cleared him out, didn't it?
100% in
That did.
in hours.
Hours.
Yeah.
So let's go before I bring the cartoon up. So he posted a cartoon meme, right? And within hours, he was fired from the Channel 10 celebrity. I'm a
I
celebrity.
think
Get
the
me out of
books-
here.
I think the books went first.
Yeah, the books.
His book deals, publisher
Yeah.
dumped him.
Yep.
All the
Publisher
books were
dumped him.
taken off the shelves.
He was supposed to be on Celebrity Get Me Out of Here.
Woolies
They bumped him.
run some of
Woolies.
his food now.
And they're petitioning for Coles.
Coles,
Yeah.
Woolies, they're all taking his stripping the shelves of anything that's Pete Evans. House also, his contract with Baccarat and all that, they've all gone,
Gone. Yep.
dumped him. So within
Pussies.
hours, right?
Pussies.
Within hours, they have just completely shredded this dude's career, right? And here it is. Here's the thing,
pussies.
and we're going to go over it. So he posted this, an oldie but a goldie, right? And it's got little. Now this is not the original cartoon. This has been doctored. I'll show you the original cartoon, but somebody has added a MAGA hat to the little caterpillar. So he's a little Trump supporting caterpillar there, and the caterpillar, this butterfly has this flag on it. Now this flag is what got him in all sorts of strife. So this flag, now Neville, and the caption is "You've changed." The caterpillar says "You've changed," and the butterfly says "We're supposed to." Right. So that is open to interpretation because there's a million different quotes that have been written on this cartoon, and I've looked at a few of them and I've come to my own conclusion. Now, when I saw this, Nev, I thought, to me, when I try and interpret this cartoon, to me it looks like having a dig at Trump supporters, right?
Yeah, my first thought as well. 100%.
Because to me it says, all right, the little MAGA supporting caterpillar is saying, hey man, you've changed, and this butterfly that was a MAGA supporting caterpillar is now morphed into this huge dark Nazi butterfly.
We're supposed to change.
Showed its true
We're not
colours,
supposed
right?
to say the same.
You might think you're a caterpillar, but no, you're a
Nazi.
fucking Nazi.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's how it looks.
So to me, when I saw that, I'm going to take us back to camera because we're talking here. When I saw that, I thought, okay, it doesn't make sense for a staunchly pro-Trump MAGA guy to share that cartoon with under the notion or under the impression that it means how we interpreted it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it means it's like he's making fun of himself, or he's calling himself out for being a Nazi, which is clearly not what he was trying to do.
Like, and I've said this before. I think he's just trolling. I think even the MAGA hat is a bit of a troll.
For some
with
it
Pete
is.
Evans.
Yeah, for some it can be.
Because and I could be wrong. There could be a shitload of stuff out there. I don't think he's come out and said a hell of a lot about Trump, about his political views. Like the conspiracy side of things, yeah, he leans that way.
He does
But I don't
talk
think
on
he's
his
been coming out
Facebook.
and
No,
gone
he
through.
does.
Okay.
He does on
Yeah.
his face. He was talking
Been
about the
pretty
MAGA
pro-Trump.
march recently,
Yeah.
and all the
Okay.
people that poured into the streets, and he's
Yeah.
It hasn't been
spit
too
it out
subtle.
there. Cobber.
No, he hasn't been too subtle.
Yeah, okay.
No,
No, like you obviously know,
I just
He's
saw a
pro-Trump.
little bit. I just saw a little bit of his stuff, and he was talking about the,
and that's
the
what's
rallies
weird
and
about
Yeah.
that.
But here's the thing: like I said, it doesn't make sense for a Trump supporter to put that out there.
Absolutely.
No.
I think now here's my theory, and you can tell me what your theory is, and people that are listening can weigh in as well. So I've got a picture of the original cartoon, right? Here it is. Here, so here's one of the original cartoons. Where have I gone? Here we go. So, and there's a caption that says, "When she transformed into a butterfly, the caterpillars spoke not of her beauty, but of her weirdness. They wanted her to change back into what she's always been." Now, I thought, what if he's interpreted that to be the little MAGA caterpillar says to the Nazi butterfly, "Hey man, what are you doing? Why are you changing into a Nazi? That's not what you're supposed to be. Come back, join us, little friendly MAGA caterpillars."
Okay.
I'm
but
probably
why-
stretching it a bit.
If I was gonna try and get that point across, I'd leave the image in that second one the same, but I'd
Yep.
leave the text from the first one.
Yes. Okay.
All right, that'd make more sense to me.
Right.
I think it's just a really poorly judged troll.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think what really hurt him was the fact that someone says, "Hey, do you even know what that flag means?" And he's like,
I was waiting for someone to point
he
that
doubled
out.
down on it, made out
Yeah,
that he
yeah.
knew. I don't know if he knew.
Well, look,
Maybe he did. I don't know. But let's talk about that flag, because that's another bone of contention. And I'm sick to death of the media just making shit up as they go. And they attribute this flag to far right groups, far right. They call anybody left of anybody, that's not Jane Fonda is a far right winger to them, right? So they'll say things like, "Oh, Trump supporters are racist," blah, blah, as we all know. But this flag, they say it's a Nazi flag. It's not really a Nazi flag, is it?
it was appropriated by the
Originally?
Nazis. No,
Originally,
no,
no, it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't.
there's variations.
It was
in,
like a
in
Nordic?
Norse mythology, Celtic.
Nordic,
Goes
Celtic,
back a long way.
They took it upon themselves.
Yeah,
And
the
they
Nazis were big on
adopted that. They adopted that.
And the Christchurch
Yeah.
shooter had
The
it
Na-
on his
Yeah.
backpack, right?
Yeah.
but
that's
I
funny.
could go do something tomorrow and put some random fucking image or
Well, I want
icon.
to see I want to see a group of far right radicals wearing VW badges on their fucking t-shirts,
I know, right?
because that's the same thing. Like it's a
Yeah.
fucking symbol that was designed by the Nazis. To
That's
prove
right.
it won't.
There's a lot of people don't know
No.
that at all.
Yeah. I've
No.
never...
V-dub.
Made up.
VW.
I've
People's
never...
car.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
People don't know.
Henry Ford as
And
well.
then
had
they
some
went and
Nazi
cheated.
ties, didn't he?
Yeah.
They went and cheated the emission
was
laws.
friendly.
Friendly.
V-dub went and cheated in the emission laws.
Yeah.
But I've never seen a far right group that I know. I've never seen that flag before.
No, and I did some looking. I couldn't find anyone who attributed it to a specific group, apart from one really small one in Australia. I can't for the life of me remember who it was.
Yeah, because there's like 3 members.
Yeah, that's right. There was apparently a couple of people at Charlottesville who had it either on themselves or on flags or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like to say that it's a Nazi symbol. Well,
It's insane.
yes and no.
But it's no different to the media. The media's malfeasance in this whole era of the culture wars. It's absolute. It's disgusting.
Yeah, but I mean, look, I think that's separate to what Pete Evans. Pete Evans, I think, knew what that was.
Well, this is separate.
Right, so
we'll save the media
separate.
for
the
a
media
second.
side of things separate to what
Let's-
Pete Evans.
okay,
whatever
let's
his
stick
fucking
with-
intentions were.
Yeah, but either way, do you agree? Like, yeah, it's a dump. Why would you put that up? Right, it's stupid.
A day before going into the jungle. I'm not going to have the internet for 3 months.
Burn the whole fucking thing down.
I'll just dump everything and leave.
But do you think it's do you think it's right that they haven't even given he hasn't even given an explanation. Nobody really knows what he meant with this thing. They've just taken upon themselves to claim, all right, he's a Nazi, get him.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, oh shit, they're saying he's a Nazi. Fuck, cut ties.
That's the thing with that I've got with Pan McMillan, his publisher, come out and said, we don't agree with his views. What are his fucking views? He hasn't said what his views are. Yeah, but that's fine. Cut him off.
But that's their bottom line.
If he
the bottom line is he's controversial. He's going to cost us. Let's fucking get someone else to put a recipe book out and be happy.
That's their right. They're paying him.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's not my view, but I'm saying that's their view.
But
is like, let's get someone out that's done a smile and put a recipe book out.
Wait until he comes out and says, all right, this is what I meant by it. No, don't give us this bullshit I don't fucking know anything about, because he knew that this was going to provoke.
He came out and said, I had to actually Google what neo-Nazi meant.
Yeah,
and we spoke about that
before
today.
He put it up, though.
We spoke about that today, didn't we? As in, like, these people are followed by hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, right? You think if tomorrow you're thrust into that situation, there could be some pretty hasty things made. I'm like, in hindsight, you'd go, okay, I'll put something up. I'm going to call my PR manager and be like, hey, this is what's going on. What do we do here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Have a wank before you post something like that.
Just bat one out, relax. Have brekkie, have a coffee, go out for brekkie.
But they're like you say, they're followed by hundreds of thousands. They're pandering to the loudest, not to the most.
Of course.
Not
it's always been like that. It's the woke Twitter mobs,
and that's the fucking scary part.
That's right.
Hey, who yells loudest yells last.
Yeah,
that's right, and that's how culture is going at the moment. It's
100%.
how social media, like if you just have a look at the explosion of Parler over the last since Twitter started censoring the New York Post, the Hunter Biden stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Conservatives is like, man, we've had enough of this shit. Like, you're censoring us, you're fact checking us with these false fact checkers that aren't even independent, and they said we've had enough. So they're all kind of leaving those social media platforms and they're going to their own places where they can freedom of speech. They can say what they like.
Yeah.
But Twitter is the absolute dregs. You want to go through Twitter and oh my God, make your hair curl, right? But they're the ones. It's the small, noisy minority that whinge and bitch and chant racist and bigot and homophobe, and they're the ones that are getting these big corporations and these big companies.
Minorities get more of a voice these days.
It's the old saying, Neville, push where there's mush.
Yeah.
And they do. And they start with the institutions that are leftist run, big tech. They're talking about academia. The professors are getting fired for all types of things because they're the weakest, and that's where they're going to push first. But oh man, it is getting
infuriating. It's
crazy, crazy. And where does it end? Like, do you think in 2020? Do you think it's fair? Like, whether or not he's a dickhead. Like, I'm going to say, Pete, he's a dickhead, right?
Oh, 100%. He's a goose.
He's a goose.
You're waving your hand at him. You're like, he's a dickhead.
Whoa,
hang on.
But do you
We're gonna have a
think?
problem here.
Do you think he should lose everything over one cartoon that hasn't even that is open to interpretation?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It's pandering to the masses.
It's not masses though. They're not the masses.
No, that's the thing. It's a loud minority who've got the masses
but they're louder.
Too scared.
They're
to
louder
speak
than the
up.
rest. And it's like, you know what? Are we going to go with this loud minority here, or are we going to go with the people that just flow?
But what's the reality of that?
But it's different.
Put him in the jungle. What's their viewership drop?
Yeah, but it's different.
Like people in their own homes when there aren't people
We're
around.
not sitting here with a monetary value on this. It's totally different to say morally right compared to monetary right. These people are talking whether it's book deals, whether it's TV deals, whether it's fucking whatever it is.
But if I'm interested by his book, by his paleo books, I'll go into a bookstore and buy his book. Now, if someone's over my shoulder going, "Oh, you can't read fucking Pete Evans," you're less inclined to buy the book. But if you're on your
fucking
own,
Nazi,
if you're
eh?
at home going, "Fuck, I'm a celebrity's on tonight. Oh, Pete Evans on it. Well, this will be fun."
Yeah.
You know,
They
I'm
got-
still
they
going to
got
fucking watch it because I haven't got the bloke down the road yelling. Like most people
That's
are going
right.
to go, "Well,
They are, but
You
you,
know
got to
what?
remember though, these people are paid
I'm
a
in my
lot
own
of money
home.
too for research, development, to do all
But
that
I
stuff.
just think
that's
we've
what
got
I'm
to
saying. I'm
change.
pretty sure the research would say most people in their own homes,
Yeah.
without the mob screaming at them, are
Yes.
still going to sit down and watch Pete in the Jungle.
Yes.
Yes, but that's
I just think we need to
the
change.
problem with that is like it's good for us because it's behind the scenes, but on the forefront, in front of everyone, they want to look like they're doing the right thing.
Either way, it's wrong.
In their eyes, they're like, Pete is controversial. Like,
But they're feeding it.
yeah, I know
They're
that's what I'm
cutting their
saying
own
though. Like
throats.
people
They are,
like
yeah.
us are like, you know what, you've got valid points. Whereas the TV industry says it ain't too controversial. We just want people to sit there like fucking zombies and
Yeah.
watch it.
It just
I
all
mean, he
comes
doesn't
down
have a
to-
valid point. That's something I'd do. That's something like that's me all over.
Yeah.
Like I'm just going to fucking irritate someone
Stir
for the
pot,
sake
yeah.
of
I
it.
do it too.
Right? He doesn't have a. If he's trolling, happy day. Yeah, that's more power to him.
But do you think
if
you don't
if there's
think he-
more to it, and he, you know what, I kind of agree with whatever this symbol represents. He's entitled to that.
He is.
Right? You shouldn't be cancelled for a fucking idea.
Hey, but
No, that's right.
Regardless if you agree with that at all, you're entitled to put a fucking
No,
up.
exactly. Like this whole cancel culture, you look at it has benefits. You look at someone like fucking Weinstein.
Yeah.
Right? The courts couldn't get Weinstein for years. He was doing this
Yeah.
shit for years and years and years and years. Right? It wasn't until public opinion turned against him that they went fucking he's
But
got to go.
that's a little bit
right?
different because he's a legit.
It was an
sex
act.
creep.
Yeah, but it was an act. It was he was doing physical harm to people.
Yeah,
That's an opinion.
that's right.
That's a way. That's a thought process. You shouldn't be fucking scrapped
That-
because
no,
you
that's
think
right.
in a particular. If you're doing harm to people physically, thoughts don't hurt people.
No.
Right? You can think what you fucking want. How I interpret it, different story.
Yeah.
But that's
right.
on me.
Exactly right. And it's it's thought policing. It's opinion. You can't fire somebody because of an opinion.
No.
It's
No,
like, and that's what
no.
we're seeing so much these days. And it's like, if you're a free speech absolutist, they believe that, and I'm probably more in that camp, definitely. They believe that everyone has a right to express their opinion, as long as they're not, physically assault, like they're not, trying to
Not
incite
negatively
violence or
affecting
anything,
someone.
right?
you don't.
Yeah.
Right? But if your opinion's shit, mate, if you're a Nazi, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But let the battle of ideas take place
People
Yeah.
can't handle
and
that.
let
Because
the,
if your idea is shit,
People
it's
can't
gonna get
handle
shot
that.
down pretty fucking
it's
quick.
going to get shot down.
Most people are just going to go, you're
That's
a
the thing
fucking-
though.
The best
And
ideas will
that's
rise
the catch
to the
though.
top.
People can't handle that.
They
People
can't.
can't be told. People can't be told facts on a subject. How many people just spout bullshit?
Did you read that on the internet?
Yeah, you better.
But the thing
Do you know
is,
what I mean? Though,
yeah,
it's like
we're such a pander.
I'm the
we're
same.
such a
Like I'm very
pampered-
strong on my opinions, but look, if you come to me with a fact, an actual fucking fact,
You're not going to dispute it, eh?
I'm not going to dispute that. I'll be like, fuck yeah, righto. Like, yeah, that's legit. That's a fact.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll adopt that now into my intellect, and that's
Still going to have an opinion.
yeah.
Just that now my opinion might be fucking wrong.
Might have
Yeah.
evolved or it might.
But I'm happy to cop that.
Yeah.
But that's right. We should not be censoring people, and we saw it. Like it is at a point now that unprecedented levels of censorship.
Mm.
Like if you just want to take the U.S. election for example, they're censoring Donald fucking Trump, the president of
Yeah.
America. They're slapping fucking warning labels over his tweets.
I was about
Kayleigh
to say
McEnany,
Facebook and all that. As soon as you write something,
unbelievable.
it's like
Yeah.
fact check.
But big tech, like, and I'm not for big government, right? I'm a limited government guy, but I think there has to be a point where big tech and the media are kind of held accountable. They have to have some fucking guide rails.
Mate, because they have so much.
They're an extension.
Influence.
They're an extension of,
Like
of
they've
the
got
left.
so much persuasion.
Like Ben Shapiro.
It's not for
mentions-
the independent thinkers. It's for the masses. Between like social media and mainstream media, they have such a fucking big influence.
Like there's some numbers coming out that people are saying that the media was worth 10 points for
to
Biden
Yeah.
in the election,
Oh.
and
Yeah.
I 100% believe that.
Yeah, easy.
100%. If
Yeah.
you just,
Fucking minimum.
Mm.
10
it's
points
scary.
minimum.
But let's move on from Pete. He's fucked either way, I think. Does he come back from
Poor-
here, Neville?
Poor Paleo.
Poor
Pete.
Paleo Pete. Does he
Um,
come
Pete
back?
will be fine.
Oh, this is
You reckon?
Yeah.
this is the interesting thing. Like,
Yep. He'll just do his thing.
you look at J.K. Rowling. You know,
Yes.
she got panned for fucking whatever she came out and said.
Oh,
You know, she's
Nothing?
She's made an apology, which personally I don't think she had to do.
shouldn't have. No.
Shouldn't have had to do.
Never
If
apologise
she was
to them.
genuinely sorry, cool. Happy days. You've offended people. If you've offended people, you should be sorry that you've offended people. But she's doing her thing. She's still releasing stuff. It's slow. She's slowly coming back into favour. Pete's entertainment value.
He'll
But
be fine. He'll be fine.
yeah.
He'll do his thing with his tribe.
Yeah.
Pete
You
will
might have
his-
to jump on Parler or something.
Yeah. No, seriously.
He might.
He'll
have.
do a couple of appearances on the project. It'll be good.
You reckon? You reckon he bounce back?
It
On the
might
project?
take
He'll
a
be
while.
fine. He'll do his own thing.
You'll
That's
see
the
him
thing,
on
though.
those
He's very,
fucking
very content in doing his own thing.
yeah.
But
Like
it's the
exactly like I
thing-
said. Pete,
MKR kids.
Parler, hit it up.
It's the old saying. I might not agree with your opinion, but I'll die for your right to say it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think we should. We don't have
And
freedom of
ironically,
speech. here.
that's a leftist motto. That was what
Yeah,
the left
libertarian.
stood
Yeah.
for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Libertarians before they went fucking crazy, radical, woke,
Yeah, that's right.
socialist.
What did they?
Oh, well, I don't know.
Never noticed.
Did you read that on the?
Never noticed.
All right, so let's move on from poor old Pete. We think he's bouncing back.
Anyway,
It's a
Pete, hit us up
possibility.
if you want to
It'll
come
take
on.
some time, but I think you'll be back.
I'll have Pete on the podcast.
Fucking love to have Pete on here.
So in other news, this is the last thing we'll probably touch on. I love when this shit happens. Never. This stuff gives me joy, right? It actually gives me a shiver down my spine of joy, and I get excited, and I think fucking great when this shit happens.
Is that when I'm happy? When I'm
Yeah,
happy.
when you're happy. When this shit happens, when people go set out to say that, you know, they were a target of a hate crime,
Jesse
Yeah.
Smollett.
Jesse Smollett, right? But they did it themselves.
Yeah.
So this guy here, an 18-year-old man in Buffalo is facing fraud charges after he allegedly vandalised his own vehicle with hate messages. He's got a BMW, right? And he's
We've all been there.
Yeah. Oh,
We've all been drunk in a breakup. Like,
So he
fuck
wrote-
your own car up.
the shit I've said to myself in the mirror after a night on the curb,
Exactly.
it's like,
Exactly.
So he wrote.
Full tip brake fluid on our own car.
So he wrote. His name's Clifton Utsi, and he blamed white supremacist Trump supporters. Isn't that all of them, Neville? He blamed them in October 15th after he claimed he found his 2004 BMW X5 spray painted with profanity-laden graffiti, including the N-word, homophobic slurs, poorly drawn swastikas, KKK, and anti-BLM messages.
it's easy when it's an 04. Wouldn't have done it if it was a fucking 19 or something, would he?
But seriously though, what possesses people to do that shit?
It's got to be a bit mental illness.
It is, but is it
And
such
you
radical
know this kid filmed-
tribalism?
Nah, but you know he filmed it for fucking TikTok.
Yeah, probably.
100%. He's fucking filmed it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to
Yes.
post. I'm not going to post it yet, but
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking film
TikTok.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, TikTok. He's
Put
an
some-
enemy of 2020.
But you know what?
Put the Kyrgyzstan national anthem over the fucking top of it. And,
It's all doing for TikTok.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say
Not a brake fluid, your car,
90%.
James.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say 90% of hate crimes are fucking hoaxes.
Oh, for TikTok.
yeah.
You know
Well,
how
actually,
many you find that are
Yeah.
that are not real?
Yeah.
So I was reading today, actually, hate crimes under Trump went up 20%. And there's you can Google it, bucket loads of articles about, hate crimes have skyrocketed under Trump. I thought, well, let's have a look at it. Because I know a few states in the US have broadened the range of what
Yes.
what a hate
What
crime is.
defines
yeah.
a hate
And
crime?
I think Biden's actually planning on going back to what Obama had it under and broadening it even further.
you know the thing.
So they've gone up-
Ultra predators.
they've got-
Super predators.
super predators.
Super predators.
Call them super predators, Joe.
I just mean you're really good at what you do. So they've gone up 20%, and
That's
it's
another
hard
episode.
it's hard to find anything that really breaks it down. But like I said, I knew that some states have broadened that horizon, so that's obviously going to jack things up. But article after article after article, Trump's inciting hate crimes.
Yeah.
Hate crimes have gone up every year on year since the early 90s under every president the US
They
had.
have, yeah.
Right, it's just a thing. The other thing was, I think, the numbers of crimes reported, or the percentage of crimes reported have dropped, but the percentage of unreported crime, other way around, the percentage of crimes reported have increased. The percentage of unreported crimes has dropped by 40%.
Right.
So people are reporting, are not reporting less often.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of that is, well, you know, I was attacked by a fucking a MAGA hat wearing white guy with a fucking
Yeah,
lynch
yeah.
at 2 o'clock in the morning in Chicago, fucking 7-Eleven.
Yeah, yeah.
We can blame this on Trump. So I'm going to report it. You know, it's
crazy.
You've got to dig. You can't just take these headlines.
No,
at face value.
you
You've
can't.
gotta dig.
The worst thing is though, right, like I'm very like whoever's got the best interest in us authentically, I'm with, right? But as soon as you say fucking Trump, everyone automatically goes, "You're a racist." You're
It's
a
just
this,
the
you're a
media.
that."
It's
And
just
you're
the
like,
media, what
fucking
they've done.
seriously, like
The Wall Street Journal.
the biggest thing since the election has been fucking Biden. So many people just like send on bullshit. Like as in like Biden does this, Biden does that. But it's been an election on basically, do you like Trump or don't you like Trump?
Yeah.
It was a
And I-
referendum on Trump's
That's a
personality.
fucking
right.
does
I've said
my
this
head
to
in.
James. James is
Like, are you guys fucking idiots? Like some of the people I've seen on social media that post, I'm like, you guys are fucking idiots.
Well,
I don't write it, but I'm like, you guys are literally fucking idiots.
well, the whole Pete Evans thing, they've called him a Holocaust.
by
From
all
one
means-
post, they said he's a Holocaust denier. Like,
yes.
Where,
Yeah.
where the hell do you get that from?
That's right.
Oh, you're a Holocaust denier now. You're just making these leaps.
They do. They do.
It's insane.
That's what I mean. They should be held accountable
I'm not-
for
I'm
the
not
shit
commi-
that they're saying.
That's the thing, though. I'm not committed by anyone. I'm not like, I'm invested in that person that much. It doesn't matter what they say. I'm going to be them.
Yeah.
I'm not like that at all. I'm willing to go either. Look, if that bloke said blah, 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 and I was like, fuck yes, you're the best person for this role. Yeah. But some of the shit that I've seen after this election and people bagging on Trump, I don't mean to make it sound like a fucking pro-Trump podcast.
It's the
But
media
some of
and
the
the
shit
Democrats
people say, I'm like, you can clearly see,
Yeah.
you fucking people are that blinded by the mainstream
The
media.
media and the
I've said
Democrats
this-
are one and the same
I've
at
said
this
this to
point.
James before. Like I mean, I'm an Australian talking about an election in fucking America has very, very little influence on us at the end of the day. If I was an American
But it does.
6 months ago, it does. And
It
the
does.
more the more I've looked into
That's
it,
what
the
people
more I
don't
realised
realise.
how
Like,
much
it fucking
Yeah,
does,
the more
man.
I've looked into it, the more I realised how much. And look, I've been sort of aware of the Americanisation of Australia
It's
for a
exactly
long
like
fucking
what you
time.
said.
Don't talk over
No,
each
no.
A
other.
long time. I would have voted Biden 6 months ago.
I remember you
Probably
saying
would
that.
have voted Biden 6 months ago. I like the theatre of Trump. He's great entertainment value. I love that he says what he thinks.
No filter at all.
No. And he does speak for a lot of us, even if we didn't really know it. What really turned me and sort of Jimmy's constant fucking look at what Ben said was just the way the media over there treated the public like idiots.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's like it's criminal.
It is crazy, and that's why I say they need to be, and we need to just replace the legacy media, and that's why if you look now that you got conservative guys, Stephen Crowder, 5 million he did 8 million views on his election stream, which beat CNN, right? People are looking for alternative sources of media now because they're starting to switch on. They're saying, so you look at the Daily Wire, they're creating their own. They're getting their own independent. They're getting their own investigative journalists in. They're creating their own media channels. Stephen Crowder's killing the game. People are starting to
Even in Australia,
reject the
man,
mainstream media now because
Yeah.
they just lie.
Yeah.
It's
But
blatant lies. and they
Australia
take
on
you
a
for
small
fool.
scale, though, even like Harvey,
Yeah.
people like that. Like I know it's a smaller scale, but like even what
It's a
he's
movement now. It's
what he's bringing
swinging
ahead
back.
is huge.
Yeah.
There's
So
a
you
lot of
still got
people
the
don't
ABC
realise
and the
like how
fucking
big it
project
is.
and it's just, oh, Jesus
But you
Christ.
even look at someone like, you even take someone like, oh my God, I've gone blank. Megyn Kelly.
Yep.
Megyn Kelly.
Megan Fox.
Take her anytime.
different show. Megyn Kelly's gorgeous as well.
that's
by
right.
the
Put
way.
it back in my
beautiful,
pants.
beautiful.
Okay.
But you look at someone that was attacked mercilessly by Trump.
Yeah.
If anybody has a reason to be partisan against Trump, it's Megyn Kelly.
100%.
But her podcast, I urge people to listen to her podcast. It's absolutely brilliant. She is such a balanced opinion, a super intelligent woman, and she cannot believe what she's seeing with the media and the Democrats and the left.
Yep.
She's pulled her kids. I read an article today. She's pulling her kids out of
listen to that podcast.
out of New
you
York.
want to hear the letter that, like, she's got 2 boys and a girl. She's just pulled the 2 boys. They're moving out of New York. They said New York's fucked.
Yeah.
Right. So she's pulled the 2 boys out of whatever. They got boys in a boys' school, girls in a girls' school. You want to hear the letter that the boys' school sent to all the faculty and all the parents, written by some black activist. Just
Probably Ibram H. Kendi.
look, I can't remember, but it was basic. It literally said, your classroom has the next white police officer is going to kill a black kid.
Wow, it's unbelievable.
And she's like, my kids aren't going to fucking kill anyone.
Yeah, it's
Like,
disgusting.
Pulled the kids out of the school. You want to hear the letter that was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, it won't surprise
And the
me.
school's going, oh yeah, okay, no worries. Here, fucking spread that out to everyone, like PTA meeting.
100%. You just got to
Yeah.
look at the 1619 project. Look at the things
Dude,
they're
I wanted
trying
to
to
bring that up.
It's
Like that
unbelievable. This
and
stuff.
AOC's list.
Oh, the Trump
McCarthy's.
accountability,
The
Trump accountability project.
It's McCarthyism.
It's loopy.
Yeah.
People like must listen to me, and I know a lot of people aren't interested in US politics and that's fine. But it's a broader problem for me.
Well,
And
we're doing the same thing here. The 1619 project, it hasn't got a name over here, but we're changing the way
whitewashing history.
Australian history was taught.
100%.
All
Yeah.
right. Nothing wrong with introducing new information. Don't write off
You got to learn from history,
what
not
we've already fucking
erase.
been taught. No.
Yeah.
That's right. Learn from history. Don't
You
erase
don't.
it.
You don't say, well, you can't ignore one side of the argument and then completely ignore one side of the argument with a new educate. It's wrong.
It is.
That's the thing though, with our side of things, it's kind of like we fucked up with the history.
You got to learn from that.
Yeah, but it's instead of like our politics, instead of going, we fucked up, here's what happened, here's what we need to learn, let's all fucking hold hands and deal with this shit. It's like they pretend it's still not happened.
No, and like I read something about it, like I think it was just a mother complaining about, and you always worry about mothers complaining.
Karen's explaining.
yeah.
Karen's
Oh,
complaining.
I want to speak to
you know,
manager.
this woman who takes care of my kid for more hours of the day than I do. You know,
I want to talk to the manager. I want to talk to the manager.
But her kid come home and they were talking about Australian history, the discovery of Australia, and this happened to the Aboriginals, and they did this and they did that, which is all legitimate history.
Yeah.
Oh, what'd you learn about Captain Cook? Nothing.
Yeah, that's
No,
right.
like, there are still 2 sides to that story. Introduce what actually happened, but don't ignore the fact that
Let's talk
No.
about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Facts
Yeah.
are facts, and history, whether you like it or not, it happened. We need to be teaching about it, and we
talk
need to
about
learn
it, though.
from it.
Yeah.
If we don't learn from it, we're just going to repeat it again.
and the fucked up thing, like they're talking about all these and again, it should be taught, these massacres, the damn near genocide that they went through,
Yes.
should be spoken about. Kids should know.
100%.
I can add they should.
But there's so much more about the Aboriginal culture that's a hell of a lot more interesting that should be taught as well.
Yeah.
Teach about the culture, not just
100%.
we did this, white guilt. It's bullshit.
Yes. That's how you get books written like
White
Robin
fragility.
DiAngelo, White Fragility.
Fragility.
Oh, my God. 2020, man. Can it get any...
I read it.
Get any wackier?
Pretty
Great
wild.
quote. White society's answer to BLM was to was to send a book written by a white person about white people to the top of the best sellers list.
That's right. It's like that meme I sent. You remember that meme where you got the black person that says, "I'm not oppressed," and you got the white person saying, "Shush, yes you are," and you need me to white-splain all your problems for you because you need me. It's so true, man. And it is crazy. And look, while we were talking about hate crimes, you've got, this is from the Wall Street Journal. A political scientist found that fewer than 1 in 3 allegations are genuine hate crimes.
Yeah, and I can guarantee those cases have gone up under Trump at a far higher rate than under any other president.
100%.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
that's why
crazy.
these whole Karen videos. Oh, this bloke, this black man's assaulted me.
Yes.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's insane, man.
That's a hate crime. They've reported a hate crime. That goes under that.
Yeah.
That goes into that reporting.
Yep. And look, I just want people to, I'd love for people to just educate themselves from multiple sources of information. You read a shitload of books. You're reading, should we say it on the air? You're reading a Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx, but then in the same breath, you'll finish that and then you'll read something like A Parasitic Mind from Gard Sard, or you'll read a Dangerous from Milo Yiannopoulos. You're reading like polar opposites, and you're forming your own opinion. And I think that is the most intelligent way to do it.
And I sent you a message through the introduction and the Communist Manifesto. Like, dude, I'm going to need re-education after this because I know this shit doesn't work, but tell you what, I'm fucking in.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
The way they broke down capital, well, it's 400 pages. There's only like 80 pages of that is actually the manifesto. The rest of it is an introduction to the manifesto.
Yeah.
But the breakdown of capitalism, you're like, dude,
Fuck
140 years old, and this cunt's fucking nailed it.
Yeah, but in practice, we know it doesn't
work. But you think how that must have affected, like a peasant farmer in Russia, who's busting his ass for nothing, dying at 45, and fucking the wife's had 9 kids, and only 2 of them are still pushing the plough.
Yeah.
It must have been powerful.
But it's like that saying. What is it? The biggest hurdle to communism is reality.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work on paper.
Well, it works on paper. It looks great. A fantastic theory.
Yes. Yeah. So it looks good on paper, but doesn't work in reality.
No.
Exactly.
No.
And there's millions of videos you can watch on, debunking socialism and communism.
Yeah. Well, let's watch a fucking baseball game on a pack of boxes.
Exactly. But you don't even need to watch videos. You just look at Venezuela. You just look at
That's right.
places like that.
China, we look at China. China's the biggest communist nation in the world. They're killing it, right? But even they've realised, they've had to introduce capitalism in the last decade and a half.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not true capitalism because you can start a company and make a fortune, but at the end of the day, if the government says, you're going to hand over everything to us, they've still got to fucking do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Otherwise,
that's right.
We're going to get a new bloke to.
Just to finish off, to finish off, I love it when you get these Antifa, BLM, lefties running around screaming.
We got one on here.
Running around screaming at Trump supporters. What are you talking about?
Have we got one on here?
One on
commenting.
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were saying.
No. I'm saying
commenting.
No.
Well,
we got one.
We got one.
Just
too
post
many
them fucking photos of butterflies.
I was like,
too many monachinos.
We got one.
But I just love seeing when you see footage of these anti-fascists, they call themselves. It's just it's so funny because they're the exact opposite of anti-fascists. I love how you see them screaming in police officers' faces, screaming in Trump supporters' faces.
Spitting.
Fascist.
Yeah, spitting.
Fascist. Do you real the actual the fact that you can scream fascist in the streets under Donald Trump and you're not thrown in jail or shot just proves that you're not living in a fucking communist, or you're not living under a dictatorship.
Yeah.
It's just it's hilarious to me. But please, people, do your research. Do your research. Just form your own opinion and just turn the fucking news off.
Makes you fucking uncomfortable.
Yes, you have to. You've got to be subjected to those ideas.
They are too scared of having their own fucking opinions, their own ideas.
It's comfortable. It's comfortable in an echo chamber.
Yeah,
it is. It's comfortable to be around. I'll admit it. It's uncomfortable. People think I love arguing and debating with people. I fucking hate it. I feel like I have to do it, but because I stand by my, my morals and my opinions and stuff like that. I like to be challenged, but it is comfortable to sit in a room with everybody that's going to agree with you and pat you on the back. And
most people don't like confrontation.
no, they don't.
No.
And I don't like it either.
No,
I really
hate
don't. I sit there all day on Facebook fighting with people.
Yeah, which is
He
it's
does.
a massive contradiction.
He
I
does.
hate confrontation, but
Yeah.
I fucking do it anonymous. And
Me,
it's half the
me
fucking
and James have a fucking business together. And he spends 50% of his time on the business, 50% of the time fighting with people. Fucking people.
Yeah, I'm fighting the radicals.
But
Like, you can
I'm
do
willing
it
to cop
anonymously.
that. I'm like, do that. Fight them motherfuckers.
Like I'm much more happy having an argument with someone online, and it's a flaw in it. Like I look back at some of the shit.
Some of the stuff you used to post was
like
gold.
God, I was an asshole.
But on the same token, though, if you were legitimately proven wrong, you'd cop it.
But
100%.
yeah,
You'd
You'd cop it on the
100%.
chin and be like,
Yeah.
oh,
But I
absolutely,
won't enter a
fucked up.
debate. I typically won't enter a debate if I'm not somewhat educated on the.
I'm too scared of being made to look stupid.
Of course. So I make sure I fucking
Yeah.
do my research and do diligence. And if
Yeah.
I'm wrong, I'll fucking
I-
admit
I-
it.
I-
Or I'll just delete my.
I told you I got into it with a bird on Facebook, and we were going hard. And this chick turns out to be a nuclear physicist. I cut it off right there. No, you got me covered. Although it might be holding me on now, but we're going to come out through it. Like I'm done.
But but that's not so. But that doesn't mean anything these days because you've got look at the professors that you've got in American universities. Like the process of like Matt Walsh said this, and I'm paraphrasing and I might butcher it, but he said something like the process of learning means nothing if you're not learning in pursuit of the truth, right? So they sit there, these professors, and it's like that book that I was talking about, written by that Abigail Schreier, about the transgender craze, right?
In girls.
In girls.
Yeah.
They were talking about the transgender professor at this at the University of California is encouraging students to burn the book.
Steal and burn.
Steal and burn the book, right?
Yeah.
Make sure it's a safe pyre, because
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you're
oh, yeah,
burning
yeah,
books,
yeah.
you've got to be safe,
Yeah.
right? But there's no rebuttal to that. There's no, okay, let's debate, let's read this book, let's see and let's debunk it and let's challenge it. There's none of that anymore. It's just, we don't like it, it's homophobic, it's bigotry,
Yeah.
let's burn it.
And again, that book makes some really, really selling. It's not a transphobic book.
It's not, no.
It's all it's saying is that girls at 5 and 6, and boys for that matter at 5 and 6, they don't know what they fucking want. And this whole at 5-year-old, I like wearing a dress, I like playing with
That's
Barbies.
the worst thing, though. You can interpret.
Doesn't mean you're a girl.
No.
You can interpret that shit at any age,
Was
whatever you want.
yeah.
Let's be honest. Like,
At 6 years old, you don't know. Just because you like playing with dolls doesn't mean that
course not.
you need to have the fucking snip at 15.
And pumped full of
Estrogen.
pumped full of
Yeah.
hormones, and it's unbelievable. But that's where we're at.
Yeah.
With-
Was it Elon Musk's
Yeah.
wife who said we're not going to reveal the gender until our kid's 18?
Yeah.
What kind of pressure are you putting your kid under? Not the
I
pressure,
know.
Yeah.
but you're introducing shit to a kid that might not necessarily have have those feelings at all.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
You're confusing the
Yeah.
I
absolute
want to play with other boys.
shit.
Well, you want to play with boys, not the other boys, because we're not sure whether you're a boy.
Do you want to play with boys?
And the
or do
kid's
you
going to be
wanna
thinking, like,
play
what the
with
fuck? What
boys?
are you talking about? I got a dick.
Yeah, it's
Like,
it's unbelievable,
they're
man.
putting these pressures on these kids. It's insane.
But just going back to
Yeah.
your point, just because somebody is, and I hate the notion that we can't form an opinion or we can't have a debate with something because they've got a qualification in something.
yeah.
It's like when
Means
people
fuck all.
question
Means
COVID, it's like,
fuck all.
oh, where'd you get your medical degree from?
And the fucked up these 50,
Means fuck
60-year-old
all.
professors
If-
who are now kowtowing to
If
the left.
anything, the medical degrees, they narrow them down to a certain thing. The medical degrees, they narrow them down to a certain way of thinking because that's the way it's taught.
Well, medical, like, I'm not trans, like, or
I know you're not.
I'm not really not today, but I may identify as something
well,
else tomorrow.
You could be
I'm
fluid.
not really phobic of anything. I'm not a big supporter of the 86 different fucking
genders.
genders that you can just
87 now.
randomly 87 now.
No, it's actually infinite. It's an
Infinite.
infinite number.
Infinite.
But someone
Infinite.
someone smarter than I, and certainly more well versed in these matters, the psychological
not.
side of the matters.
They're not.
No, she was. She pointed out to me a while ago that there is actually, and I like to do my own research. I will admit I didn't follow this up because I trusted her opinion. There are, and I think it was chromosomal differences in a lot of transgender people.
Right.
So it's not just I have this feeling. Like there is some kind of physiological thing there for a lot of
100%.
transgender
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
So when you look at hermaphrodites who are born with either either, like
100%.
these people might be just short of actually having the physical and just having that chromosomal slight difference. I didn't look it up. Like I said, I trusted her opinion. She's a lot smarter than me.
I want to look that up for another episode.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm smarter than me.
Because everything that I've... Yeah.
I know what you mean.
like,
Instead of
it
X,
makes-
Y, it's like XX,
That's
Y, or
but
whatever.
again,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
still a binary argument. You're either, like you said, you're either X or you're Y.
Mm.
You're not X/A hyphen Y, like pansexual or fucking whatever you.
Yeah.
But gender is a
Scientific-
social construct.
You're saying scientifically, you fall into a fucking category.
They dig your bones up in 300 years,
Yeah.
because they're building the fucking high rise.
They'll know if you're a man or a
Like
woman.
they're going to go, well, that dude was a dude.
They're building a fucking swamp.
But like I said, they're
building the swamp
and
for
I'll take
fucking-
her word for it. There is a
they're
case
building
to
the
be
swamp
made
for the,
for small physiological
art
stuff.
gallery.
We've got to stop talking over each other.
Art gallery. They're building the swamp for the art gallery. They do DNA.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging in with us on that one. But we'll talk about that further down the track. I would like to talk about the transgender issue because it's something that I've done a fair bit of research on, and it's always fun to
think we
argue
should-
with people
if
over
we-
barbecues,
If we come back, we should all wear dresses.
like
Yes.
Harry Styles.
Happy to.
I was ready to
We're breaking down the
Well,
toxic
you
masculinity.
do Harry, I'm going to do Iggy.
Yeah, okay.
Completely different mindset.
Oh, but same
100%.
same
And Kurt
token.
Cobain, 100%
Yeah.
differently.
Same
mindset.
token, like, I would love some people to come on.
We'll get a transgender person on.
I would love to have some people on here from their point of view.
Oh, look up Lacanto now. So.
I'm not a closed.
You're not a closed
Thing.
book.
Closed-minded.
Okay,
I'm
you
not
know the
closed-minded.
thing. Had a
That
blood
thing.
moment there.
That thing.
Oh, men
Rub
and
their
women.
leg hairs and they got leg hairs.
Oh,
and, you
men and
know.
women created equal and under.
No, but
You
I'm
know
not,
the
I'm
thing.
not closed-minded like that. You know, like I would love someone to come on
No,
and have their point of view.
That's
I would
right.
love to let them have their point
because
of
at the end of the day, all there is truth.
view.
I just made that up. Sounded cool.
That sounded really good.
All right, guys.
You should
Thanks
get
a lot.
Sign bit.
We'll see
Sound
you next week, hopefully. Take it easy.
We're here. Ciao.
Goodbye.
Bye.
For listening to the Trojan Hour. Yeah, the boys.